Okay, it is here, it has happened. I've been saying it's going to happen for a while. Many people told me that it wouldn't happen because now it's in the hands of Microsoft and they have an unlimited amount of funds to throw at everything to make it work. But Nuclear Winter has had its termination date. From the beginning of September, Nuclear Winter will be switched off, and while a lot of people who say that PvP has no place in the Fallout franchise are clapping their hands right now, they seem to miss the point that there's many of us who are just simply going to switch off come September. I started out my channel just over 2 months ago with overwhelming positivity. I really wanted to be positive about this game because this game has had some bad press and it was completely undeserved. Well, maybe at the beginning it was deserved, but Bethesda pulled the thumbs out of their posteriors and got on the bandwagon and made it a much better game. One of the things that made it a better game was Nuclear Winter. It was an alternative way of engaging in PvP, because PvP in adventure mode just basically didn't work, with people using hacks and exploits. And while this was also prevalent in Nuclear Winter, it at least gave us a place to go and be equal on some sort of level where you're never going to be equal at PvP in adventure mode. So why has Nuclear Winter been turned off? Well, Bethesda would have you believe that there's no one playing it and that you can't get into servers, and indeed that does seem to be the sentiment as well. And many Facebook groups that I'm a part of, that people have never been able to get into it because it's impossible to get in and that the waiting times are just too long. This is not my personal experience, however. I very rarely have to wait more than a minute or two, which is completely normal for a Battle Royale game. Call of Duty has similar waiting times to get into their Warzone. You can't hide the fact that the numbers are dwindling though, and the more you play, the more you realise that you are more and more being put together with the same players who were in the previous round. That is just simply because not that many people are playing it anymore. Bethesda has stated, and they want us to believe, that it's because people are more interested in exploring adventure mode. However, there are many people at the moment who say adventure mode gets boring after finishing the scoreboard, and they often have to wait 6 weeks. So where do they go if they want to play some Fallout? They hang out in Nuclear Winter. There is indeed an upturn in people playing Nuclear Winter in the last 4 or 5 weeks before the next season drops, especially during the last season, which was delayed for 2 months. A lot of people found their legs, or their frog legs, in Nuclear Winter back then because it was just such a long period of not keeping the game up to date. Of course you're going to have dwindling returns on a mode that you don't put any support into. It doesn't matter. If they hadn't put any support into adventure mode, do they think that people would still be playing that? No, this is just laziness on the part of Bethesda. And before people say that it's an issue with Microsoft, that is not how company acquisition works. Let's take the acquisition of Lucasfilm by Disney. When a large company takes over a smaller company, it doesn't automatically mean that the larger company tells the smaller company what they should do. No one buys a smaller company and wants to put more work into it. Instead, they buy a company because they want to get the rewards from it. So by and by, they let the company do what they were doing before. Star Wars is now crap because Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm made it that way, not because Disney bought it. There were those that said that Microsoft are now writing blank checks for workers in Bethesda to get this game on its feet, and that would include Nuclear Winter. These events have proved them completely and totally wrong. Microsoft is not interested in putting more money into a game which itself is not very successful to start with. Okay, it's had an uprising in players, and there was a couple of weeks where on Xbox Game Pass it was the most played game of the month or something like that, but that kind of success is fleeting and it won't last, and the player base will go back to what it was before. The plain fact of the matter is that there's less and less to keep people who are level 200 or over interested, and Nuclear Winter was a place where such people could have congregated. And it was for some time, and it was a very healthy player base. Eventually, though, it fell prey to the hackers and to the exploiters, and it was very difficult to get in and have a fair match. Had Bethesda or Microsoft, or whoever you believe is in control, had supported this mode more, it would have been popular. Yes, it's true that Fallout is populated by people that don't necessarily go for PvP, but there's an increasing number who feel completely unsatisfied with how PvP works in adventure mode, and they've heard that Nuclear Winter isn't very good, which is not true. Check out my other video on this subject. This does not bode well for the future of the game itself, in my opinion, and while they've stated that they're looking into other ways of us enjoying PvP, those of us who have enjoyed Nuclear Winter, the Battle Royale mode is perfect for this game. It is literally the only Battle Royale where I have seen that you can start the match not being completely equal. Having a team of 4 being able to switch perk cards and complement each other is something that doesn't appear in any other Battle Royale. And this was the amazing thing about Nuclear Winter. You could say that it was broken, but it was no more broken than the rest of the game. The flaws in the battle mechanics and the PvP mechanics were carried over from adventure mode and needed work. No one was ever denying this. But I think that Bethesda don't realise that more people are going to stop playing this game than they think are going to stop playing this game. Nuclear Winter wasn't just about getting together and PvPing. A lot of people formed friendships and bonds over this mode, and when that is gone, they will be gone from the game because there's nothing to do to run together. What you're going to do, run daily ops together with a team every single day? The only other way that they're going to feel fulfillment is to start going into adventure and start griefing people and trying to instigate PvP there, and PvP in adventure mode works even less than it did in Nuclear Winter. So what's the alternative? A lot of people are touting the upcoming private server tweaks and being able to switch settings. Now, I have some serious doubts about this. I remember from the original announcement that we were going to be able to play with atmospheric conditions, how long night and day lasts, and different stuff about that. I was told on a Facebook forum that they also said that you're going to be able to switch on PvP or switch it off. I can't remember this being stated anywhere. If anybody does remember this, can you please put a link in the comments below? But I do not hold out much hope for this. At the moment, a private server can hold 8 people. This is not PvP. There is a possible 52 people, and even on bad days, you had 30 people to PvP with in Nuclear Winter. If we could recreate private Nuclear Winter matches, that would be great, but the private servers are just too small for doing that, and I don't believe that Bethesda has the server stability for us to run unlimited amounts of Nuclear Winter servers. Even if they were to close off the PvP players into private servers, how are you going to advertise those servers outside of the Discord community? There's no social lobby which would allow us to do that, so they're going to have to make a whole overhaul in the game. Wouldn't it have just been simpler to maintain and update Nuclear Winter regularly? I'm asking you. I really don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know where my loyalties are going to lie come September. I have tried to be overwhelmingly positive on my channel. That is slowly changing. I really apologize to anybody who didn't come here to hear negativity. I will again, on my next video, try to be more positive about this game. This is Gizmo First. Please leave a like or a subscribe, and I'll catch you later.